Police are warning Toowoomba residents to stay indoors, but they are telling people living near the Lockyer Creek around Gatton or downstream to evacuate immediately. People have already been rescued from the roofs of their homes as the water surge inundates everything in its path.
Grantham at the foot of the Toowoomba Range copped it next. A tidal wave hit the small town mid-afternoon and everything in its path was washed away. Homes, cars, even a plane. It is a disaster zone. Dozens had to be rescued, helicopters plucking the stranded from the roofs of their homes. Children went first as the flood water surged. And it's not over. More trouble is expected. More water tonight. It's the fourth time in 2 weeks roads into town were cut. But there always seems to be someone willing to take that risk.
I've yelled out for her not to move it and drive through, and she just kept going. I'm yelling out, stop! Come on, stop! Don't do that. Are you kidding me?
She didn't get far and had to be rescued by angry locals who risked their own lives.
It's ridiculous. You just don't do that. It's just a stupid thing to do.
More than a dozen homes were isolated.
It's not a compulsory evacuation. It's just if you want to go, they'll take you.
The rushing water separated parents from children.
Yeah, smiles all around.
The danger, though, wasn't limited to the water. This morning, a familiar sight, a sea of brown.
I've never seen anything like it. It's just terrifying. You think it's the rain, but it's not. It's the sound of the water because it's just going so fast.
Past your house?
Yeah.
But it's not all bad. This time last year, Toowoomba's 3 dams were nearly bone dry. Have a look at them now. It's the first time in 10 years they're full and overflowing.
I guess we just developed web feet. Quack, quack.
Tony Fabris, 9 News.
Evening. The waterlogged southeast appears to be at the point where it simply cannot take any more rain. Our dams are at bursting point. Our major roads are cut or in some cases washed away. And tonight there are evacuations in Stanthorpe. But nowhere felt today's torrent like Toowoomba, where at least one person was killed.
It is a sight this state, this city has never witnessed. Toowoomba is a disaster zone. A city perched on a hill under a torrent of surging water, picking up cars, swamping the CBD and tragically claiming lives.
The city of Toowoomba is effectively split down through the main centre of town.
It's feared 2 women were swept away to their deaths as West Creek broke its banks and the water rushed through town. A body was found in a drain late this afternoon. The flash flood hit just after lunch, 115 mils that fell in an hour. In amidst all the carnage, courage. Authorities raced to rescue people trapped by the sudden surge. People clung to what they could.
I was just scared, so scared, because the fridges and some drums just started to floating, and it just passing beside the car, so I just couldn't go anymore.
With rescues prioritised by not life and death, but how many were in trouble, nursing homes and childcare centres were evacuated. Some stranded were asked to stay put, with no emergency services able to help. Others couldn't wait, and swift water teams did what they could to get to them in hellish conditions. Down at Helidon, it's just as bad. Desperate and alone, people are stranded on the roofs of their homes, waiting for help that for the moment can't reach them. The roads all around this area are cut, and it's almost too dangerous for helicopters to fly. The few that can be saved are the lucky ones. Authorities rush to get to this house, a woman and her cat pulled to safety. In the Lockyer Valley, the tiny town of Esk was the next emergency.
We've just heard the news that Esk is completely under.
Yes, there's a house floating down the creek.
You're joking?
No.
Locals say Sandy Creek went up 3 metres in 10 minutes and they didn't stand a chance. Reports of some 50 people rescued as the water rose. Cameron Price, 9 News.
In Brisbane, residents are being warned to prepare for the worst-case scenario that could see homes and businesses flooded. For more, we cross now to Neil Dawley. And Neil, are we talking 1974 proportions?
Not at this stage, but there are serious concerns. Our dams are full, more heavy rain is on the way, and we're about to be hit by king tides.
As the rain continues to fall, our dam levels rise to staggering levels.
Wivenhoe was at more than 140% capacity.
Now rival the inflows in the 1974 flood. 1 million megalitres, or 2 Sydney harbours, flow into the Wivenhoe catchment every day.
An extra 54,000 megalitres a day is being released, making its way into the Brisbane River, which was so high today, 2 CityCat terminals were closed while other services ran at reduced speeds. The Lord Mayor's warning the river will be half a metre higher on Wednesday and the flow-on effects could be devastating.
This flooding will affect people's businesses, but we feel it's vitally important that we get the message out.
Some businesses along the Eagle Street Pier in the city are already sandbagging, preparing for the worst.
And we have to be ready with a contingency plan to evacuate.
Out in the suburbs, safeguards are being put in place to stop the water. Residents in Brisbane South stocking up on these freebies from a council depot at Morningside.
We're in the low bit of Carina Heights, so yeah, just getting ready.
We've got water coming in through our garage.
Carolyn Marku, one of many who say it's better to be safe than sorry.
And seen how quickly disasters can strike and how quickly rivers can come up.
Neil Dawley, 9 News.
Area of concern tonight is Gympie. The Mary River has cut the town in two and it's still rising. Some homes as well as businesses in the main street have been swamped.
Business operators in Gympie called it controlled panic. 200 store owners calling on staff, family and friends to clear everything out of their main street properties.
We've had offers from trucks to personnel this morning. We're pretty well right. Most businesses around here have moved. We decided that we'd wait till the last minute.
As they loaded stock at the front, water was already rising through rear loading bays.
If it floods, I can't work, so yeah, I'm a bit worried. But there's nothing I can do about it.
They had been gambling on a 15-metre flood peak, but it was upgraded to 20 metres after torrential rain fell upstream along the Mary River, putting the whole CBD in jeopardy.
We took out all the small stuff yesterday, hoping this wouldn't happen. But unfortunately, with that rain last night, particularly up around Maloney, just had to do it, yes.
The water will not only cost sales, but owners aren't eligible for insurance due to the area's flood history. Every business has a reminder of how vulnerable they are.
Well, 1999, our high mark was there. High tide was right at the bottom of that sign. So this one's got a lot to go yet.
10 low-lying businesses knew they'd be the first to be inundated. Staff at Kalula panel beaters had shifted equipment into the roof of their workshop, but a higher flood prediction forced them to go back in a tinny to salvage stock and light fittings before it went under. Not everyone was prepared. Some owners are still out of town on holidays or couldn't make it back because the Bruce Highway is cut by floodwater each side of Gympie.
We've copped it now and we're now dealing with that.
Council predicts up to 30 homes are at risk of water damage.
There's a lot of water. There's a lot more to come down. It's going to go close to the 99 flood record.
There's been no forced evacuations, but some families are opting to move now. Long-time residents say the downstream surge is stronger than previous floods. As an indication of just how fast the water is coming up, 4 hours ago this yard didn't have any water in it whatsoever. If it reaches the flood peak, which will be over 20 metres, it'll be on the top of that roof.
So he's lounging in electrical stuff, so she's right. Hose it all out next week, eh?
Gympie residents hope it recedes quickly, but they know their flood peak will become Maryborough's nightmare in 2 days. In Gympie, Darren Curtis, 9 News.